All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're going to break down exactly how top creators engineer these crazy, high-stakes 100-day isolation challenges to really test the absolute limits of the human mind. You've probably seen this format dominating your feeds, right? But beneath the surface of those massive prize pools and the flashy thumbnails, there is a very real, very raw psychological experiment taking place.
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? Could you survive 100 days completely cut off from the world? While these endurance tests are super entertaining for us sitting at home, the psychological toll they take on the contestants is way heavier than most of us realize. Today, we're going to look at two massive experiments side by side. Mr. Beast's physical isolation chamber, where two strangers compete for $500,000, and Ryan Trahan's self-imposed 100-day exile into the virtual reality of the metaverse.
And you can see the mental anguish right from the jump. Just listen to this raw quote from Ryan Trahan. "I'm literally trapping myself on purpose to this headset." It just perfectly captures that sinking desperation as they realize they are paying a severe emotional price for a manufactured goal. Let me tell you, the novelty wears off incredibly fast when your freedom is just totally gone.
Let's move into Section 1, the 100-day obsession.
So let's compare the core setups here. We've got physical isolation on one side and virtual isolation on the other. Now, on the surface, they seem completely different, right? But here's the thing. Whether you strip away the physical environment, like in Mr. Beast's claustrophobic, blindingly white room where you're eating endless canned chicken, or you offer infinite virtual distractions like the metaverse with endless digital planets, the psychological deprivation follows the exact same trajectory. It turns out your brain really doesn't care if your prison is made of white drywall or pixels.
Which brings us to Section 2, the honeymoon phase.
You know, it's fascinating. Every single one of these challenges kicks off with this huge burst of optimism. When those doors first close, or the headset first goes on, human resilience just kicks right in. Everyone is super motivated. In the first few days, they actively try to build connections. In the metaverse, you have Ryan bonding with a virtual stranger named Clay, literally dancing in digital mirrors. And in Mr. Beast's chamber, Susie and Bailey, two complete strangers, mind you, team up to make paper playing cards out of their journal pages just to pass the time. The initial motivation is absolutely sky high.
But then we hit Section 3, the art of temptation.
Because let's be real, watching happy people play paper cards for 3 months, not exactly viral content. So the creators start to weaponize human desire. This is where the true psychological torture actually begins. They start teasing the outside world, bringing it back into the isolation, but at an incredibly steep cost. Just look at this number, $50,000. Mr. Beast repeatedly tempts his sleep-deprived, canned chicken-eating contestants to give up massive chunks of their prize money for the most basic comforts. He offers them a private chef for $50,000. He offers a pair of smart beds and the simple ability to just turn off those stinging overhead lights for another $50,000. And shockingly, in the heat of the moment, they actually say no.
But man, the pressure of trying to hold on to that money, it comes with a crushing mental cost. After Susie and Bailey reject a mystery box that actually contained 2 free Teslas, the psychological weight of their choices practically crushes them. Susie is just devastated. Bailey straight up says, "I feel like we made the wrong decision. I'll regret this forever." Honestly, at a certain point, the regret becomes almost worse than the isolation itself.
And as the days drag on, that willpower just evaporates. The costs escalate so fast. They drop $20,000 just to get some basic spices and coffee. They spend another $20,000 just to see their family through a glass window for 10 minutes. And finally, they spend a staggering $100,000, $101, just to buy a bed, a TV, and a tiny taste of normalcy. They are literally spending an absolute fortune just to feel human again.
And that leads us right into Section 4, the breaking point.
What starts out as goofy boredom, like literally whipping pork at the wall on day 7, spirals into a total psychological breakdown. And the real wall, it hits right at the halfway mark. Day 50. 50 days completed, 50 days remaining. And honestly, for these contestants, this journey is nothing like they imagined. The hardest part wasn't the lack of comfort, it was staying consistent. Showing up every day, recording themselves when they felt absolutely zero motivation, just continuing when the daily results didn't match the grueling effort. Most people would stop when the excitement disappears, but reaching day 50, it's proof they didn't quit. Still, as they push past that halfway point, the mental decay really accelerates. By day 36, Ryan is dealing with pure existential dread, literally crying himself to sleep in virtual reality. By day 99, Susie is hiding the Monopoly dice just so she doesn't have to interact with Bailey.
This isolation just racks the body and mind, but it looks a bit different depending on the environment. In the physical box, it manifests as this bitter, silent hostility between trapped strangers. You've got Bailey pacing the room at 3 a.m., while Susie intentionally uses up all the hot water. In the virtual world, it manifests as severe self-neglect and depression. Ryan's real-world room is literally covered in decaying food and old pizza boxes, all while his avatar is just aimlessly wandering around an empty digital McDonald's.
Finally, we reach Section 5, the final dilemma.
After pushing human endurance to the absolute limit for 100 straight days, the creators drop the ultimate climax. The doors open, the sunlight finally hits their faces. But wait, the game isn't actually over. Mr. Beast drops the classic prisoner's dilemma on his totally exhausted contestants, forcing them to decide whether to trust the person they've grown to deeply resent or betray them entirely. And the rules are brutal. Split to share it, steal to take it all. But if both steal, they get absolutely nothing. Zero.
This sparks absolute panic. With Susie wearing noise-canceling headphones, Bailey is basically backed into a corner, terrified that his partner of 100 days might just turn on him at the last possible second. I mean, think about it. If both of them press the steal button, they literally spend 100 days in this room together for absolutely nothing. Every annoyance, every freezing cold shower, every petty argument just comes rushing back in that one moment.
But spoiler alert, in the end, they both actually chose to split the money. And that is so incredibly telling. It proves that even after profound psychological torture, the shared human experience of survival was just infinitely stronger than greed. That shared trauma bonded them in a way that the manufactured betrayal simply couldn't break.
As we've seen today, success in these challenges truly belongs to the people who just keep going long after the motivation is gone. Today, they might not have walked away with the full $500,000 they pictured back on day one, but they survived. They learned more about themselves than they ever expected. And it leaves us with one really provocative question to ponder. When the cameras finally turn off, the initial excitement vanishes, and you are left with nothing but your own thoughts. Would your mind survive the 100-day box?